If two men are struggling with one another, a man and his countryman, and the wife of one comes to save her husband from the hand of the other, and in so doing reaches out to grab his genitals, thou shalt cut off that hand and show no pity. A fitting verse, I think, as we come here to the New Forest in this fine June weekend to celebrate the marital union of two great souls, Ben Webster and Amanda Barry. Now, of course, we all know that marriage can be a brutal affair, full of enforced loneliness and future hardship. But today we wish to put aside these things and to think only of the joy of the moment. I am David Martin of the Wee Free Church of Killawanker, and it is my great pleasure to have been asked by the friends and relatives of this couple to host a series of interviews that may help us find out a little more about them. Let's speak now to one of them. So here we have Nick Weir, who I believe has been a lifelong friend with something of a passion for dogs.
Oh, not something, David. I've loved dogs all my life.
Which is why you know Ben, I suppose.
Well, indeed. I mean, that's what leads me here. But I need to say that, yes, of all the dogs that I've loved in my life, there is one particular dog that I hold a special reason for in my heart.
Well,
but I need to keep personal issues out of this, because I'm here in my professional capacity today.
Of course.
I'm here as a talent spotter for Crufts.
How fascinating.
And we have two categories which we think Polly might be very well suited for this year's champion.
Right, you are. And which are those?
One of those is the most waterproof dog.
Indeed.
Yes, and we think Polly has many, many qualifications for waterproofness.
Indeed.
The other category, which is pretty high up the top of the list here, is the dog least likely to wipe its arse on one's carpet.
Oh, an extraordinary thing, right you are. And which do you feel is most likely to be one in this
Polly's
particular...
up there with the best of them, and it could go either way.
Well, indeed. Well, I mean, may the Lord guide you in helping to make that decision.
Thank you, David. It'll be a difficult decision, but I look forward to seeing Polly very soon.
Splendid. I wish you the best of luck in your endeavours, fine sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then he went up there to Bethel, and as he went up the road, some youths came from the city and mocked him, shouting, "Baldy, Baldy!" And he turned to them and placed a curse on them in the name of the Lord. And out of the woods came two female bears and mauled 42 of them to death. Kings chapter 2. And I think a very fitting verse as we consider that in our rich lives many of us has experienced many difficulties. And it is to learn more about some of the difficulties that Ben has experienced in his life that I spoke to his brother. Here to provide some insight into another aspect of Ben's character we have, who I believe is Matthew, your role as a tennis coach?
Yes, I've been coaching Ben at tennis for many years now, since he was in his early 30s, I would say, and it's been quite a journey. He's
difficult.
He's difficult. He's a very conservative player.
Oh, yes.
He likes
Calm
to play
on the court.
He likes to play within himself, and I've really been trying to get him to reach out and really try and reach the end of his talents. But the problem with Ben is he fundamentally can't do it. He really needs to own the court, and he can't. He's too tentative.
Right, okay, yes, a bit of a shy man, you might say even.
Which is strange, because off the court he's not a shy man, but on the court he sort of comes within himself, and that's something he needs to work on, I feel. He needs to express himself.
Ah, indeed. Do you think this might reach into other parts of his life? I mean, here we have him reaching towards the marital bed.
I don't like to say so, but I think it could. I think it could, and I think he really needs to take a long, hard look at himself. Yes, he needs to really reach inside.
Well, may the Lord help him to do so. But thank you very much, sir, for that insight. That has been very revealing.
Not at all.
Whosoever utters the name of the Lord shall be put to death. The whole community shall stone him, be he foreigner or local. If he mutters the name of the Lord, he shall be put to death. Now, it is no secret that many of us have an unusual take on life, and it is with that in mind that we move on to a fine example in our next interview. And here we have relatives of Ben's. This is Johan, his brother-in-law,
5 minutes,
and his sons.
20 miles.
Why, hello there, and how nice to see you.
Oh, lovely accent you got.
Yeah, well, that's very kind of you, thank you, yes.
So,
Ben said 5 minutes.
5
That
minutes.
was-
Where have you been, might I ask?
That was 2 days ago.
2 days? What have you been doing in this time?
well,
Wow.
we've been walking.
Walking?
Lovely Ben. Say, yeah, go this way, turn right. And
Lovely Ben.
So he sent you on a walk, and yet it was not the 5-minute walk he suggested it might
He
be.
didn't. No, it's not the first time, to be fair.
This is not even
I
the
think he's
first time.
taking the name because I'm
10
French,
minutes.
and you think French people don't get 5 miles in 5
This
minutes.
is
I
sinful.
think it is. Lovely
Yes.
accent again, by the way.
So what are you going to do? I mean, oh, now somebody else, have you just arrived on a walk as well?
Oh, yes. Yes.
You look exhausted.
Well, I think she looks tired. She looks tired. I think she
Yes.
likes Ben more than we do. We don't like it anymore.
Really, you don't like, but no, I can understand that, given the situation you find yourself in. I know, that's
All the
That's
10-minute
horrendous.
cycle rides that turned out to be a whole week trip.
a week trip for a 10-minute cycle. This sounds like it's forming a pattern, and a pattern that you surely ought to be breaking. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I think we will.
We'll just go around the block maybe.
Round the block, you think?
You tell him. You tell him.
Yeah.
We'll knock Ben out and tell him we went back.
I think that might be a very good idea, to be honest. Yes, yes. What do you think? Do you think that, that maybe a woman would help to improve?
I think Amanda will settle him
Amanda
down
will
a
help
tiny
us.
bit. I think
Yeah.
5-minute walk with Amanda would be 5-minute walk. Not 20
You
miles.
think she'd manage to
I
keep
think
that
she-
walk
I
at
think
the
she
right
did
kind of?
already.
Yes,
If
yes.
she was around when he said 5 minutes, she would correct him straight away.
Yes, no, indeed.
Thank you,
Well,
Amanda.
that's a good thing. So,
Hasn't done it
a
yet.
big thank you to Amanda as that. That the Lord is judgmental, and shall ultimately cast us all down into the fires of hell, where we shall rot and languish in those flames, is of course without question. However, question does arise in some of the matters that are raised in this next interview. I hope you will now join me in perhaps reflecting on what we learn here. So, of course, one thing with Ben is that he has always been someone who is passionate in the environment. Oh, and as it happens, here we have the Hampshire County Council Officer for Conservation joining us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm glad you've asked me about the conservation around here. I wanted
I'm
to.
not sure if I did, but do go on, sir.
I need to talk about this lane and these people with big motorhomes driving past here and the pollution they're sending out.
This is something that has been troubling you, sir.
It's troubling me badly. I've written to the transport correspondent on the Times about this.
Oh, did you have any luck there, sir?
He didn't want to know.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
didn't want to know.
No.
And I am troubled about this. I'm also troubled about the fact I see plastic going into the ocean off Calshot.
Yes.
And again, I've written to the oceans correspondent on the Times,
Yeah.
the national newspaper
You would hope-
regarded by all of us.
You would hope to get some response
I
there?
didn't get a word back. Now,
Oh,
I
my
understand
goodness.
it's Mr. Webster again.
I can see that you're clearly disappointed, sir.
I'm so unhappy about this.
What do you think would possibly bring him around? What could help to make him a better person?
Well, I think that ship sailed.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yes, I have grave concerns.
Could
but
maybe a
I-
better woman bring him around?
Well, I'm optimistic because I hear that he's married Amanda Barry.
You're
Now,
right,
Amanda
yeah.
Barry is a very nice lady, and I think
You have
I-
experience there?
I've met Amanda Barry. she's felt my collar many a time.
That's true,
in her
yes, yes.
professional capacity.
Of course, of course.
We won't talk about that now, but I think Mr. Webster's punching above his weight.
That is a risk. It is a
I
risk
think
that
it
many
is,
carry.
and I hope he can live up to his expectations. But, you know, I think the man, yes, he's married a very, very respectable lady, and I'm encouraged. And I hope in time she will encourage him to see the error of his ways. However, I do believe that said motorhome's going off polluting Europe
Oh,
for
good
several
heavens.
weeks.
Good heavens, I believe you may be right. I've heard similar.
I think my blood boils.
Well, Mr. Barrow, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for sharing these keen insights.
I thank you.
And after that, perhaps it is a fitting moment just to reflect and say a short prayer. I hope you will join me. O Lord, may we not be struck down by misery, by turning away from your light and being cast down by your judgment. Let us instead stand by you and cast down others by taking our sword and smiting them where they turn away from your light. Amen. Let's now move on to the next interview. And so here we have two lovely girls, Roxana and Melina, who I believe have been brought over through some strange circumstances from Eastern Europe as slave labour.
Yes, very much so. We believe that it's the highest time. We mentioned the horrible things we had to live through at Amanda's and Ben's house.
Tell me about it.
Well, I don't know if you know, but seriously, we were forced to look after those two horrible, horrible boys.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Really?
It was awful. First of all, can I just say that when I met Amanda, I first had a phone conversation with her when I was back in Romania. She seemed a very lovely person.
Oh yes, and then it turns out she's not.
Oh my
Would
goodness.
you believe it?
What
Further
exactly?
from the truth.
Oh, we couldn't even breathe in that house. We weren't allowed to eat. We weren't allowed to cook. We weren't allowed to even sleep. We just had to work for 12 hours a day. Can you believe it?
This sounds like the devil at work.
We didn't even get paid for any of it. Can you believe it?
Actually,
It was
I got
the worst
occasional
nightmare.
chocolate. I did get the occasional.
Oh yeah, when you were like starving, right?
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they lock you in a cupboard?
Pardon?
Did they lock you in a cupboard?
They locked me in that little tiny room, and mind you, I only had a black and white TV, a very small screen. Terrible things, Amanda.
Black and white.
I don't know about you, but I had to go into the cupboard under the stairs. Like
Goodness,
Harry Potter, can you believe it?
that is quite extraordinary.
Yes.
Were you involved in the dark arts?
Of course not.
No, I'm glad.
It was Amanda who was involved in that dark business.
It is. Pure souls
It's on
like
the
your own.
outside, a little bit dark soul on the inside, Amanda. You tricked everyone into thinking it was great, but it wasn't, was it now?
Of course, you're not what you tell everybody you are.
This is quite shocking.
But
And
now,
do you think?
seriously, we should tell the world who you really are, shouldn't we,
I think
Amanda?
it's time. I think it's high time.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't hold
Well-
it back anymore.
You are the loveliest person we've ever met.
Goodness, this is a turnaround.
Yes, it was, and it was lovely in the house, and I wanted to thank you for welcoming me into the UK. And I wanted to also thank Wendy. I mean, this is the part where I have to thank Wendy for being there for me on a few occasions and being a bit of a godmother as well. Yeah, indeed. And yeah, it was a little bit tricky at the beginning for me just because of Eddie and Harry and me having to be a bit of a nanny for two children, but we got used to it, or at least I did.
Yeah.
You were the au pair before me, and it turned out to be really, really lovely. And in the end, it was a little bit difficult to go, wasn't it?
It was definitely. Well, I think I'm lucky because I didn't actually go, did I? And we got stuck with each other, and it's just the best thing in my life that you are like my family. And I'm not gonna say anything else because I'm gonna cry.
Don't ruin the makeup, honey.
It's the makeup I care about, so I'm not gonna say anything else. But you are like my family, and I'm just so lucky to have you in my life. And you are like my mom and dad, and you know it.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ben. It was really nice nice meeting you, and I have to say that I have really good fond memories of that place, and it's given me quite a nice start, and I always feel like I've got a little place where I can come back and recharge my batteries if I have to. And I'm really sorry I haven't kept in touch, but I'm just going to pretend that it's because I'm busy in London, because I forget things very easily. I promise I'll stay more in touch from now on, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm really, really happy to be here. Congratulations, guys.
So yeah, all the best, lots of happiness, enjoy it, you really, really deserve it, and well done, Ben.
Well,
Finally. So, love you lots. Mwah.
Thank you very much, girls. Then, because of the dire straits to which you will be reduced when your enemy besieges you, you will eat the flesh of your own sons and daughters, the sons and daughters that the Lord has given you. Now, of course, dire straits were a band from the 80s, and not one that I understand ever ate the flesh of children. But such confusion can often arise in interpretation of the Lord's word. And it is such interpretation that also arises difficulty in interpretation, that is, when one listens to this next interview. Hello, sir. This is Stephen Weir, isn't it?
Yeah, that's me.
Yes,
I'm from Lancashire,
right.
and I'm actually very upset today.
Oh dear,
Well,
yes.
you see these beautiful trees?
Beautiful trees.
We're full of
yes.
California redwoods. These are
Fine
redwoods.
specimens of God, yes.
No, I said the redwoods.
Oh, yes, redwood.
No, I didn't mention. Anyway,
Oh, yes.
I've got a complaint, and I want to complain about a man who's been chopping these trees down and writing all over them, and he
That's
just keeps
disgraceful.
writing and writing and writing and writing and writing and writing.
Disgraceful, sir, yes.
What?
Disgraceful.
I said it's journo babble.
Oh, yes,
So
I've heard
this
of this.
journo babble, he writes all over this complete twaddle.
Yes,
Complete
yes.
twaddly talk. Anyway, so I rang the police. Very nice lady. She's named Mrs. Barry, I think. She was so nice and so helpful. And she came all the way up to Hereford. I live in Hereford. And she came all the way up to Hereford. That's where I first met her. She's a very nice lady. But she brought this twat from the
dear.
time. Twat. Is that rude? Too rude for you?
Twat. Well, no, twat is an acceptable
Okay,
word
well,
in the
we'll call it
Bible.
twat.
It's,
The twat
oh no,
from-
that's less so. I'm
from the
afraid,
Times,
Yes.
and he comes up and he starts doing this journal babble, more and more and more and more babble.
Oh, yes,
and so
I've
he's
heard
chopping
this.
all these trees. He says, "I work for the Times." And I'd never heard of the Times, of course. But anyway, so he goes out sailing. He does. They've got
Sailing.
this very big motorhome. It's very nice. But he gets all wet and dirty, and he comes in it. And
Right.
Mrs. Barry, she's cleaning this motorhome, but it's just so messy. He's a journalist, and he's such a nuisance.
He brings home sins into the caravan of the
Sins?
home. Yes.
No, sand, I
yes.
said, not sins.
Oh,
no,
yes,
sand.
yes.
He brings a lot of sand into this lovely caravan, and it's not good enough, and I've had enough, and I think that's about the end of this interview, because I've got to go and put some more trees in. So
Right.
thank you very much, and I'm very happy that you brought Mrs. Barry and this twiddle twaddler from the Times together. Thank you, and goodbye.
I think we appreciate the input. Thank
Right, well,
you.
very nice for you. Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you very much.
Bye.
Sir. Choice words there. Choice words indeed that were clearly spoken from the heart. And of course, the heart is a key part in marriage. Not because it is something that we sometimes consume at the wedding day, perhaps 2 or 3 hearts and those of pigs and cattle and the like, but more because the heart is actually used as a symbol of the soul. And the soul, of course, can endure when it is not cast into hell. Let us move on and speak to another who has insights into similar matters. And here we have one of the sons of Amanda Barry. It's Ed, is it not?
Yes, Ed, yes.
Hello, Ed. Now, on this fine day, you must have strong emotions running through you about what's happening with your mother and...
Overpowering almost. Overpowering almost, yeah.
Tell me
Beautiful
about
day, beautiful people, everyone involved, wonderful day. Marriage between my stepfather and mother has prolonged it a bit.
Yes.
Finally got round to it.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't
Very,
it?
yeah,
a
very
lot of living in sin.
Exactly.
Yes.
Very definitely.
Tell us how that troubled you as a child.
Well,
It must have been very
yeah,
difficult.
Even at the tender age of about 8 years old, I'd be sitting there thinking it's about time now, isn't it, man? I mean, Jesus Christ, you're right. Come on, we're waiting for it. We all
And yet
waited.
they didn't listen.
No, he didn't.
No,
No, he just
no.
cracked on with his 23 things to do. 23
Selfish.
things to do. Just,
Yes,
yeah. Classic
yes.
Ben. Classic Ben.
Oh dear. And yet now here we are on this wonderful day, and it's finally happening.
Fine.
And yet you have left the nest, have you not?
I've left the nest, yes.
Yes.
I'm a nice fledgling. I've left.
Yes.
Under the nice young nurtured wing of Ben and Amanda themselves. I feel like I've grown into a fine young man.
Yes, I'm glad you feel that way, yes.
Enjoying myself, having a good day.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And do you have any special messages for...
Special messages. Same phrase I've always used. It's not biological, but it's logical. That's how we go. So it's not biological, but it's logical.
On that
Ben and
fine...
Amanda, Ben and Mum, have a wonderful day. Love you both very much. I'm going to send that from me and Harry as well, because I know Harry doesn't have the... there's too much bravado to say it himself. But love you both very much. Have a wonderful day. Mum, you look beautiful. Stepdad, Ben, you look quality. Lovely little partnership. Great day. Great evening. Great company. Wonderful event.
Lovely message there. Thank you very much, Ed. And here, as we wander through the woods of the New Forest, we encounter a bog. A bog that could swallow a man whole if he wasn't careful, taking him to his slow and grisly death. But let us not dwell on such matters now, for this, after all, is a joyous day, is it not? Here we are, taking part in sporting activities, which are always good for the soul. It can lead to temptations, it can lead to devastation. Here's hoping that in this particular case that won't be true. Here they get ready. Oh, they're off. They're off. They're off. Oh, there's a bit of a dud up there. Oh, now what's happening here? Oh, we've got Oscar of miles ahead here. Oh, hang on, some cheating. Most certainly lots of cheating. That will definitely see them burn in hell. And if a man shall lie with a woman and uncover her sickness and her nakedness, and shall discover her fountain, and she shall uncover the fountain of her blood, so shall they be cast out from among their people. Leviticus chapter 20. And I think a fitting verse as we move into a new era for Ben Webster and Amanda Barry, as they clearly look back and show regret for their days, weeks, months, years of sinful union, and try to make amends as they come together today to join their hand in marriage. So here I am now with Ben's mother. At least we believe that mother can be a little bit confusing in this family, but Mrs. Hall, yes. Would you care to perhaps tell us something about Ben's early days?
Do you call me Margie?
Margie, certainly.
I'm not from Scotland, but I tend to pick up on other people's voices.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's a fine accent.
It is,
oh.
but as I say, I shall try and revert to being myself.
It is terrible how falsehood can come into our lives, is it not? Yes.
When Ben was born, he was large, and he was 9.5 pounds.
Yes,
and
something
so,
that's lasted clearly. Yes.
yes, yes. And it was in the days of baby telegrams, and my father sent me a telegram saying, "What a big Ben, much love, Daddy."
Yes.
Couldn't resist it.
Yes.
And in those days they separated the babies, and they put all the babies in the nursery in the hospital, and in the night you could hear all these new babies,
yes.
and then you could hear Ben, because his voice never really broke. You see, it was always the same.
Must have been tempting to call him Damien at this point. Yes.
As a little boy, he once caught up another 3-year-old who'd lost his ball. He said, "Is this your ball?" And I remember his mother giving me a look, because his voice was just so much deeper than everybody else's. And he came home from school with this very nice boy called Mark a bit later, and I said, "He's a very nice guy, but he's not short." And I said, wouldn't it be better if you played with people your own age? He said, Mummy, Mark's 6 months older than I am. So he went on being Big Ben.
So he made friends with runts, effectively. Yes, yes. This is...
But he always had cunning.
Sly.
As a very little boy, I had arranged them. They were Granny Smiths, as I recall, and I arranged them in a pyramid on the fruit bowl, like this. And I saw him. I spent quite a lot of their childhood watching through the cracks of doors, because children are always very funny when they don't know they're being watched.
Yeah.
And he very carefully, he was about 4, very carefully took each apple off and then took a big bite and put it back.
The original sin of the Garden of Eden.
Absolutely.
Yes.
By the time he'd finished arranging them, there was this perfect pyramid of apples, but in the back of each one was this huge bite.
Multiple sins of the Garden of Eden, yes. And has he ever turned back, do you feel, or has this simply set the scene for the rest of his life?
According to this Matthew's speech, it would seem that this talent to deceive has continued.
Yes.
And he was a fine. He was an entrepreneur quite early. He took his marbles to school and traded them.
Yes.
That was in junior school. So he was always in to make a good deal.
Indeed. And when you introduced him, as I'm sure you did, to the house of God, how did he react?
Well, he was quite keen at first, but it wore off.
Yes, I can tell that, yes. And yet, hopefully now today, with Amanda coming into his life, as she is, in holy matrimony, this will all change, would you say?
No, I wouldn't. But what is good? He is that he's married for the best reason possible. He's married because it will make Amanda happy, and
that is a fine reason indeed. Yes,
it's the best reason, and I do think he has astonished himself by how happy he is today. He really, we both got that feeling that he is even happier than he thought he was going to be, and he has realised that, this was a very good, if somewhat belated, decision.
Mrs. Hall, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, indeed, there is much we can learn from others. But as we come to a close on this wondrous day in which Ben and Amanda find beautiful union together, it is perhaps fitting that we come back to from whence we started and to quote once more from Deuteronomy, in this case, chapter 28, verse 27. May the Lord strike you down with Egyptian boils, with tubers, scabs and itch, from which you will find no cure. God bless everyone.